soul. Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Games get played, can't take it personal. Cause the devil is a liar. I tell you the truth, hey. It's all in what you do, hey. Some things you gotta do, hey, 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 hey.
Hey, barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to join the Patreon. Join the Patreon, man, and come and get some of this good cooking, man. And don't forget, we go live every night, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and every night and during the pandemic, man. I think July 4th, maybe the end of it. So that's what we're gonna do here in Los Angeles. So we're gonna rock out, man. And thanks to Jack Reese for coming on last night, man. And don't forget to Google Jack Reese and go to his website. He has and go follow him on Facebook. He has a really good ref camp coming up real soon. So make sure you guys go check him out. But let's jump into this shit really quick, man. And before I get off, man, I got to share this, and I'm just going to tell y'all how efficient I am as an interviewer, because I knew this was coming. All right. And I saved it because, you know, a lot of times I'm smarter than the average person. But I want y'all to listen to this real quick. This is me and Bob Arum talking about the Bud Crawford Shawn Porter fight and how it's not even realistic moving forward. And I'm gonna tell you why. Here it is right here. Listen, pay attention. If you can't get site fees to happen in America like a Florida, does it have to be pay cuts? So let's say, for example, if Terrence Crawford is worth $3 million and Shawn Porter wants $2 million or $7 million, like compared to Amir Khan, would they have to willingly take pay cuts to keep their checks coming in?
Well, how else do you do it? I mean, unless the promoters become charities and are going to finance these events out of their own pocket with no hope to recoup the money. I mean, that's unrealistic. I mean, there's, you know, I would, as much as I would love to do a big fight, it's unfair to ask us to take a loss to finance these fights to the level that they were financed before, when all these revenue streams have been cut off.
Gotcha.
In other words, a fight that cost like $8 million, which was realistic based on television revenue, based on live gate, based on maybe closed circuit if it's a pay-per-view fight, based on sponsorship. If those revenue streams dry up, who's going to make up the difference? So there will be a negotiation with fighters to take less, and it still doesn't put the promoters in a position where they've recouped all the lost revenue. Gotcha. Everybody is going to have to make sacrifice.
And that's tough to do when just yesterday they were making career high paydays, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I mean, look what's happening in baseball.
Barbershop conversation. So that's Bob, myself talking to Bob Arum. Give myself a shout out, man. I had a Nipsey Hussle sweater on in that interview, and guess what I got on right here? Never let a hard time humble us. You know what I mean? This is I got a few Nipsey Hussle sweaters, man. Shout out to myself, man, supporting Victory Lap, man, and the great Nipsey Hussle from out of my community, man. But let's jump into this really quick, man. I told you guys, man, the speculation, and go check my rap sheet, man. This fight is impossible to make, you know, just from a financial standpoint, unless people take pay cuts. You know, I mean, they took a gamble with Amir Khan and didn't pay off. Shawn Porter was headlining on Fox as a commentator on Fox. Earl Spence didn't even know he was fighting a week before his fight against Mikey Garcia. He heard that in the interview. They gave away every ticket in the house. I'm just stating facts. I'm not shooting down nobody, but I want you guys to understand of how important it is to have a pulse in boxing, because a pulse in boxing generates income. You ain't got to be no clown. You definitely don't have to be no clown. You understand what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder, Earl Spence are no clowns. You know, You're always going to be the villain when you're generating income in America as a black man. So just take it, man. And I mean, 8 times out of 10, man, or whatever the percentage is, but there's a percentage of it. Okay. And he's not a generate. He can't generate income. And Bob Arum has said the same thing. And I would assume that Al Heyman is thinking the same thing, because I remember in the Blue Blood interview, Kenny Porter saying that he got the blessings from Al Heyman, and I broke that down for y'all. That means basically saying you got the blessing to go talk to the enemy. That means you're a Crip, and they told you to go talk to Bloods and to go get your shit. You know what I mean? Go get your bricks. Man, we not fronting you, no, Shawn. We not fronting you no more bricks, dog. We tried, and then they man. Listen, it's going to be very humbling for these fighters when they get out of this COVID-19 era, because $1 million purse has now become $500,000. What you gonna do? I mean, you can look at America, and 38 million, 40 million people are on unemployment by the end of this Friday. 40 million people on unemployment. They can't even begin to think about a live gate. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no money out there. You know what I mean? So everybody's squeezing. You understand what I'm saying? Just to say my bottom line has been impacted because I'm allowing my tenants rents to be discounted. You understand? And you understand, for the most part, I'm losing thousands of dollars. I mean, I'm giving back to the community, but my overall bottom line is greatly impacted, you know? And but it's just how everything comes to a head at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, for example, let's talk both ends of the stick. We asked Terrence Crawford, hey, come do interviews with us. Nah, fuck y'all. Black people are, they like to spin shit. And that may be true. But you still should have talked to somebody. And now your lack of popularity, which is important, your lack of being able to communicate, you know what I mean? Shawn Porter, his inability to connect. Just think about this. Many times he's been in a big fight, he had to succumb. He had to compromise himself. Adrian Broner, he had to catch weight. Okay, when I get done with the video, okay, say hi.
How long is your video gonna be?
Give me 3 more minutes. And so with that being said, no, 3 minutes, dude.
3 seconds.
3 seconds. So at the end of the day,
Hi.
let me finish this video, dude. I'll be in there in a minute. All right, go ahead. Yeah, don't poke me. Here, get it when you come down.
How do I get down?
Jump.
Actually, no, I'm not gonna jump.
Actually, no. I'll be in a minute, okay? Actually. Oh man. So where was I? Oh, so he compromised and took a catch weight against Adrian Broner. That means Adrian Broner is the ace high, right? He fought Kell Brook. I'm not going in order. If I am, I don't know. He fought Kell Brook, no rematch clause. All right. He fought Paulo Malignaggi in Atlantic City, wherever, on the East Coast somewhere, probably. He fought Earl Spence. Here's the kicker. Here's what I fully don't grasp or don't understand. He fought Earl Spence without a rematch clause. He should have learned from the Kell Brook situation. Should have learned. There was no rematch clause. They dropped you out of the top 10. Protect yourselves. Get insurance, right? Your house catch on fire, you got insurance. Your car get into an accident, you got insurance. Your car get broken into, you got insurance. You get sick, you have insurance, right? A rematch clause, insurance. If I had a fighter and I knew he was fighting and I was a champion and I knew I was fighting Mike Tyson, I knew I was fighting Deontay Wilder, I knew I was fighting Floyd Mayweather, and in your case, I knew I was fighting Earl Spence. I need a rematch clause. No amount of money, if it's not 2.5 times my pay, will make me compromise that. Simply put, you know what I mean? If that fight is worth 1 million, I need 3. And that's the way it should have been. But now Shawn Porter is in a pickle because there's no money there for him to fight anyone. He's gonna have to. He may be the guy to fight Jaron Ennis. You know what I mean? He may have to be that dude to fight Jaron Ennis. You understand what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, I think. So I think at the end of the day, that may be. Come on this side of me. That may be. Watch the wires. So I think at the end of the day, that may compromise his career.
Wires are outside. These are cords.
Hey, jump on. So I think.
Hello.
Let me finish this video, man.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, man, how at the end of the day, I think that you got to put people in place. Like Shawn Porter, quite possibly should have put something.
Yeah.
Should have put someone in place in between him and his father. From a business standpoint, it should have been a buffer there to help him understand. The same way that maybe I'm drawing a blank. Barry Hunter, the same way Larry Wade plays, maybe their part. It should have been something done on the business side, because here's the catch. And I want people to understand the bigger picture of this. And this is what I had to learn too as a businessman. Okay. Is that I may have got duped on my first deal. Right? I may have gotten duped. But now, as a businessman, there's levels that has to go through. The person I'm doing business with doesn't know it, but there's stages that goes through me going through a deal. You understand? As it relates to me getting the deal. You understand? It's a real estate agent. It's a lawyer. It's my business partner. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's the stone cold. That's the stone cold reality. You know what I mean? That's the stone cold reality. So at the end of the day, man, I think. So this is what COVID-19 does, man. They got me with my son, man. So I'm gonna finish this video. I'll probably have to come back later and do a part 2. I think maybe part 2 would be better. Part 2 would be better, Lincoln?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do a part 2 later. And but at the end of the day, I think, and this is what I would tell all fighters, and I'm gonna use Shawn Porter as the example. Shawn Porter left millions of dollars on the table. Millions of dollars on the table. One, no rematch clause with Kell Brook, no rematch clause with with Earl Spence. And now, because his inability to relate to media, his inability. 1 second. Sure, go ahead. So because no longer can we use Christianity as that, because guess what? Evander Holyfield, what did he say? I'm gonna knock him out in the 8th round. You know what I'm saying? Evander Holyfield prophesied in every fight. So that's not so you can't say that he's a Christian, you should give him a pass. Nah, business is business, dog. You know, one may say I might have been this is what I was gonna say before I get to that point. Here's what I had to learn as it relates to me gaining wealth, right? And your wealth, when you can generate money off of true talent, right? But how you generate wealth is wisdom, right? Like, no matter what happens to me, my wealth will continue to generate, right? Let's say I get into a car accident, get cancer or something like that. I just hire a management team. They take 3%, 5%, whatever the case may be, and I still generate income. I'm still able to generate income, and I may never have to work ever again. Yeah, it costs me a little bit of bottom line, but I will forever be able to generate income because of that, right? Now, with that being said, as I correlate that to Shawn Porter about the intellect and the intelligence of quite possibly me getting burned on my first deal, right? When a father and son goes into boxing, and I need you guys to understand this, boxing is a poor man's sport. at the genesis of it, right? 1-2% make millions of dollars, right? Similar to the NBA. It's a poor man's sport. So that means as you're coming up, your father's coming up, and many times, I don't know most time, but many times your father is your trainer and your manager, right? We've seen it so many times. And as you're growing up, your father is your manager. So when you see new money, guess who first time seeing new money is? Your father. Okay. Part 2. When you get your first belt, that's your father's first time getting his first belt. And sometimes you have to have a buffer there or someone that you can trust that has financial intellect. You understand? You don't have to have them full time, but every business deal you make, you need someone to oversee the deal or give you the pros and cons of the deal. That's why Al Heyman is such a genius, because Al Heyman walks into a business room and says, "Hey, I'm here to help both sides. Let's make this beneficial for you and beneficial for you." Right? Like Clarence Avant, same thing, right? Right? Like Don King. Don King always says, "I'm always walking out with the winner." And that's just the reality of it, dog. And hopefully a lot of fighters grasp what I'm saying as it relates to this. And then when people think of like who they need to ask for consulting, they immediately think, "Oh, I need a white Jewish lawyer." No, you don't need a white Jewish lawyer. Maybe your best friend is a lawyer. You paid them $500 to reread the contract and tell me, does this make sense? But you need someone who's really been through it so they can tell you the avenues. Like I'm not advocating for myself. I'm just stating the facts, right? I've literally broke down. Listen, a year before 6 months before Bob Arum said they're going to reach out and start looking for investors, I told you what happened. 18 months before the zone started looking out for outside resources, I told you it was going to happen. All right. The same way y'all thought Terrence Crawford, Shawn Porter was going to be made, I told you it financially doesn't make sense right now. It's a great fight now. I really want to see the fight, but it don't make sense. Shawn Porter literally sells in a 10,000 person seat arena, which the StubHub is. I mean, he sold less than 1,000 tickets, dog. I was there. You understand? And you know what that stems from? Not understanding boxing in its totality. You understand? I just, man, it's he left so much money on it. Shawn Porter left so much fucking money on the table, dog. Fuck. Damn. I mean, millions of dollars. I mean, oh my God. You know how players have play options and all they got to do is get to July 1st? You know how July 1st and the NBA is free agency day? I remember, I'm not going to say the name, but I remember going, I swear to God, I ain't going to lie to y'all niggas. I was in Vegas for the 4th of July and I get there early, right? I get there early because I go to the NBA Summer League wasn't starting because it started like July. But anyways, I was there. And I swear to God, I remember this like it was yesterday. I'm chilling with because back then I used to hang out with a lot of NBA players like every day, right? And I remember July 1st or whatever date that was. I believe it was July 1st. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that motherfucker woke up with $4 more million. I ain't lie. He says, I was real cheap, so I don't pay for tables or cabanas and all that shit or pool parties and shit. You know what I mean? So they always paid. You know what I mean? And I remember him telling me I just rolled over and it was a play option on my deal and I kept it and I got $4 or $5 million. It was like $4 million he got that day. It was like a sign-in bonus or something. He literally got $4 million at midnight on July 1st. How crazy is that shit? That's literally Shawn Porter. Damn, man. Like, I don't care what y'all say about me and like my lack of respect for Kenny Porter and his lack of respect for me, you don't leave millions of dollars on the table, dog. Like, oh shit, you don't, and you live in Las Vegas. That's probably, anyways, man. Anyhow, man, I'm gonna come back with a part 2 with Terrence Crawford and Shawn Porter as relates to the business of it and how they've literally shot themselves in the foot to making millions upon millions upon millions of dollars by themselves as the draw. I'll come back. So, anyways, man, I mean, it's too late now. Like, honestly, y'all can say what y'all want. Shawn is 1-3 against big time opponents. He beat Danny Garcia, and he lost to Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, and Earl Spence. So he's 1-3 against the current elite, you know, and so he's gonna have to go up to 154 and be the B side, you understand, and be a hell of an opponent, you know, or go down to 140 if he can, you know, or catch weight the 140s coming up, you know, like he's fuck, man. Anyways, man. Barbershop conversations, man. It's kind of sobering when I'm thinking about the numbers. Imagine him having to fight Earl Spence for 2 belts, legally having to fight him. Or better yet, selling his rematch clause, and we'll never know. They'll just say, oh, Shawn Porter declined to take the rematch clause because Earl Spence is going to be out indefinitely. He probably got $2 million for saying, no, I don't want the rematch clause. Same thing they trying to do to Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I can't. When Kennedy goes to school, I'm gonna run boxing a little bit. Not on the macro level, but some boxers. I already got offers to help out in terms of being like a advisor type, but I really don't have the time to do it. You know what I mean? Be real hands on and shit. But when Kennedy goes to school full time in about a year, next September, because of the pandemic, so next year she'll be going at least 4 hours. And then when she gets 5, she started going 8 hours or kindergarten or first grade, whatever. I'm going to fill you guys. So anyways, man, barbershop conversations, man. You guys have a splendid day. And it's just real sobering how much money Shawn left millions of dollars on the table, dog. God damn. Barbershop conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.